Now we'll start off episode 3 with A-Train. He's leaving the hospital after a doctor's appointment, and when he gets outside, he sees a familiar face, his brother. His brother knows that something's up, and A-Train admits, I used to run here, now I have to get driven here. Doctors basically say that it's a coin flip. If I run again, my heart could explode. If I don't, obviously I stay alive. But the question is that a risk I'm willing to take? His brother takes him back to his place where he can get reacquainted with the entire family. He's wearing that ridiculous Africa outfit, and he gets roasted for that. But then his brother shows him a video of a local man who was killed by a superhero. The story that they tell on the news isn't exactly what happened. Nathan wants him to do something, speak out, because he's a part of the Seven, but A-Train tells him it's really not that easy. As for the leader of the Seven, after that little outburst that he had, Ashley goes and tells him that his numbers are through the roof, especially in the Rust Belt. He's up 21 points. And it looks like Homelander's honesty has Homelander back. She also tells him that him and Starlight as a team have a Q rating of 98%, and no one has ever been that high. After leaving Homelander very stiff, Ashley goes and has a meeting with Starlight about who is going to be selected as the winners of the reality show that picks the next 2 members of the Seven. Supersonic is the obvious choice, although Starlight says, I want to talk to him first. But then they get to choice 2, and Starlight differs with the creative team. She wants to pick a superhero that wears a hijab, and they don't think that's going to trend well. But at the end of the day, she has final say. And while Ashley tries to convince her out of it, Starlight throws it on the table and says, there's nothing you can do about it. After leaving the meeting, she grabs Supersonic and secretly tells him that he's going to be in the Seven, but what he should do is turn it down. She says, there's something wrong with Homelander. He's broken. He's threatened to murder me more than once. He's murdered other people, and it's only getting worse. If you join the Seven, it's going to be a disaster, not only for you, but for your family as well. So when they offer it to you, you have to leave and never look back. But this is a lot for him to process, so he needs a moment. Now, Annie's boyfriend, Huey, headed to the Flatiron Building because that's where Billy Butcher and his team have their office. But he's not the only member who's returning. Mother's Milk has also returned. As soon as Huey walks in the room, Billy starts giving him crap for working with a soup for over a year. And when the jokes finally stop, Huey tells Billy, we need to get Ryan somewhere safe. Vicky knows where he is. And that means Stan Edgar knows where he is. But that's something Billy's already thought of. He's already moved Ryan. And he's also planned to go visit Ryan along with the rest of the gang. The only thing is, Frenchie can't go. He gets a text message and he's got another matter he's got to deal with. So it looks like it's only going to be Billy, Huey, Mother's Milk, and Kimiko heading up to visit Ryan and Mallory. But before they leave, Huey's going to have to get out of work. He knows that Victoria will know if he's faking a sickness, so he wants Kimiko to break his arm. And she does, and it's painful, but it will give him the alibi that he needs. The group then heads up to go visit Ryan, and Frenchie goes to deal with his matter. And Frenchie's situation has to involve Cherry. When Frenchie meets up with her, she tells him, I'm in a situation. I went back to work with little Nina. I was moving drugs for her, and a bunch of guys took it from me. They were wearing masks. I don't know who they were. Cherry looks at Frenchie and says, come with me. Because at the end of the day, she knows that little Nina is not somebody you want to be indebted to, or somebody who you want looking for you. Frenchie can't, though. He gives her some fake passports and heads on his way. As he's walking back to the Flatiron Building, one of little Nina's guys comes and picks him up. And little Nina and Frenchie have a history. Frenchie used to work for her. And while she doesn't look like it, she is pretty intimidating. She brought him there because she wants to know where Cherry is after Cherry stole her drugs. Little Nina tells him she never got mugged. She just took them. But Frenchie plays dumb. She doesn't really believe him, and she tells him, I can make it worth your while, but Frenchie says, I don't do drugs anymore. And the fact that we're working for the CIA means that I can go. So he heads back to the office. Billy and his group, meanwhile, have arrived up to visit Ryan and Mallory. Ryan is thrilled to see Billy, and the group is very confused about Billy's reaction because it's fatherly. They leave Ryan outside with Kimiko, and Billy, Mother's Milk, and Huey head inside to talk to Mallory. And when they tell Mallory about Newman, she has the same reaction that Huey had. She can't believe that she was duped. She asks them, what's the plan to eliminate her? And Billy says, that depends on what you can tell us about Nicaragua. Because a little birdie told me you were Payback's case officer down there. It was a classified job that Soldier Boy never came back from. She plays dumb, but Billy is able to get her to tell them the truth. She headed down to Nicaragua in the 80s to do some secret classified CIA missions. This after Oliver North just really screwed the pooch. And they were funding it by taking the cocaine from Nicaragua and funneling it into urban areas, which doesn't make Mother's Milk too happy. But one day, all of a sudden, the CIA decided to give the troops a little bit of a pick-me-up. So they sent Payback down there, which didn't sit well with Mallory at all. You had the whole group, the TNT twins, Crimson Countess, Mindstorm, Swatto, Black Noir, Gunpowder, and of course, the worst of them all, Soldier Boy. Grace Mallory was sort of the fun police. Grace then gets approached by a Vought associate, a guy named Stan Edgar. He tells him that this is a trial run, but the plan is to have Payback embed themselves and fight alongside the Contra rebels. The way that Grace sees it, though, they don't belong in the military. And Stan reminds her, well, Soldier Boy was in the military and he's a damn hero. And unfortunately for Grace, there was nothing she could do. There were orders from above. Later on, as she's walking through the camp, she overhears a conversation between Stan and Black Noir. And believe it or not, Black Noir didn't want to wear the mask. He tells Stan that he's sick of it. But that all changes when the group is attacked. Their camp is bombarded, shot up, Swatto is killed, Black Noir's face is so charred up that he's reaching for the mask, and Soldier Boy was taken by the Russians. Crimson Countess said that the Russians killed Soldier Boy. They had some kind of weapon or something, and they took his body back with them. At the end of it, she lost 116 men, and Vought got full immunity. That was the day that she decided to make Vought pay. Unfortunately, though, a trail went cold behind the Iron Curtain. They have no idea what happened to Soldier Boy, what happened to the weapon, any of it. That story, though, doesn't sit well with Billy or Mother's Milk. Mother's Milk tells her, you know what Soldier Boy did to my family, and you never thought I'd want to hear about this? She then kicks out Marvin and Huey because she wants to talk to Billy alone. And Billy's pissed off, too. He thinks that if she would have divulged this information earlier, it could have saved Becca's life, because he would have been able to eliminate Homelander, which is something that she promised him when he came aboard. So he is pissed off. But as he's chatting with Mallory, Huey gets a phone call from Starlight. She's freaking out a little bit. She was called to a meeting with Homelander and Ashley, and Homelander had a great idea for the television show. A real twist ending. Instead of bringing on the superhero that wears the hijab, they're going to bring back the Deep. The Deep, along with his wife Cassandra, walk in, and Starlight wants nothing to do with him. Even after the Deep apologizes, Starlight can't really forgive him for that whole, sexual misconduct. She asks for a meeting alone with Homelander, and the two get into a pissing contest, where Homelander tells her that his numbers are trending up, and whoever has the better numbers has the power. She tries to play her final trump card, the video, and releasing it, which would make Homelander look terrible, but Homelander says, release it. If you do, I might take my wrath out on everybody. So unfortunately for Starlight, she's not going to get her way this time. She calls up Huey, freaking out about what to do. She starts talking about leaving, but Huey says, I know I should agree with you on this, but you got to stick it out. I'm back with Butcher, and we're on to something that can kill Homelander. So I need you to buy us some time and just keep your eyes on him. And Starlight can't really believe what Huey's asking her to do. He's basically asking her to cozy up next to Homelander as he grows more unstable by the hour. The whole time hoping that he doesn't kill her or worse. Huey tells her, I'm sorry, but yeah, if that's what it takes. Unfortunately, the high road isn't working. We have to be as mean as they are. Butcher then comes storming out of the house, and Ryan's the first one to see him and yells, where are you going? But Billy says, to the city. And when Ryan asks, when will I see you again, Billy just says, you won't. This really hurts Ryan. Because Billy told him he'd always look out for him, and now he's abandoning him. And Billy tells him, maybe I don't want to look at you after what you did to Becca. Did you ever think about that? That hits Ryan at the core. He yells at Billy, I hate you, and then he runs back in the house. That didn't sit well with any of them. When they get back to the office, Kimiko's the first one in, and she sees Frenchie and asks him, how do you work for that guy? She then poses the same question that Cherry posed to Frenchie. Let's just get out of here. But Frenchie isn't willing to leave. Billy asks Frenchie, where were you? And Frenchie fills him in that he was with little Nina. But that's when Billy realizes that this little Nina fiasco can actually help him out, because Nina is Russian. So he tells Frenchie, set up a meeting between me, you, and little Nina. Because if they're gonna find that weapon, they're gonna have to head to Russia, and little Nina might be able to help him with that. That night, everybody takes off, and it's really just Huey and Billy. And Billy had some time to think about what he did, and he realizes just what a monster he was to Ryan. Huey starts trying to make him feel better about it, but then all of a sudden, Billy pukes all over him because Billy's been throwing up all day from that 10th V. No word on if either of them watched the finale of American Hero, but the taping was that night. Beforehand, Supersonic had told Starlight that he was planning on telling the producers he didn't want to do it, but she's always been loyal to him, so he's not about to leave her with this psychopath. So when they announced the newest members of the Seven, he's one of them. Then they announced the Deep. And this move wasn't out of the goodness of his heart. In fact, before the taping, Homelander, Ashley, the Deep, and Cassandra all had dinner. Homelander took the liberty of ordering for everybody, and he just happened to order seafood, knowing how uncomfortable that was going to make the Deep. He then made the Deep eat his friend, Timothy, who's a squid. And even Cassandra told him to do it, because they can't hear Timothy begging for his life. But in order to get back in the Seven, the Deep does it. And when they announce the newest member, he walks through the door. Homelander starts giving his speech about how this was actually Starlight's idea. Forgiveness is key. But then he turns to the Deep and says, just stay away from her because she's my girl now. And this is very confusing to Starlight. Homelander says, I just can't keep it a secret anymore. It's time we let the world know. Starlight and I are in love. Hashtag Homelight. Ashley and the rest of the creative team love it. But when they give Starlight the chance to go back on it, she doesn't. She says, yeah, let's go again. Because she remembers what Huey told her. So when they go again, she takes it one step further and she kisses Homelander. But the whole time she is gritting her teeth. She hates it. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry, it'll be up in a day or two.